Well, hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
How are ya? How are ya?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I'm glad you made it through the storm.
I did. I made it through the storm, and we only got um 8 inches.
Not bad.
Only 8 inches.
Only.
Although we really needed the rain because we're pretty dry here, awfully dry, very dry.
Yeah, we needed the rain. We got a couple thunderstorms come through yesterday, and I felt so
Mm-mm-mm.
bad. I felt so bad because you know my son orders DoorDash for dinner, and he's sitting there looking out the door window.
Mhm.
And he starts laughing and he's like, "I don't mean to laugh." And I says, "What?" And he's like, "This poor guy is drenched. He's got no shoes on and his socks are squishing."
Poor guy. Isn't that
I'm like,
terrible?
"Oh
That's
my
terrible.
god." Ugh, oh,
Terrible.
that was horrible. But, and then he says, and the bad thing is that he wasn't even driving. He was just the passenger. So there was somebody staying in the car staying dry.
That's a smart one.
Right, right. Oh,
Yeah, that's a smart one that's out there that's sitting in the car
uh-huh.
saying, you know what? You go ahead, run it up to the door. I'm sorry, it's raining on your head. Maybe you should have brought an umbrella.
Well, yeah, you would maybe. But men don't think like that.
Well, they don't think they're sugar. They don't think they're going to melt, but I do.
I
When
do
I'm out
too.
there in the rain, I think I'm going to melt.
I do too. I do
Um,
too.
I'm saying hello to the two people we got out here in the
Uh-huh.
audience that should say hello to us so I know who you are so I can say hi back.
It you know what? It's our ghost subscribers.
Oh, well, if you want to be a ghost, go ahead, be a ghost. It don't matter.
Yep, yep, yep.
Well, I guess we're going to go into the news. And I got a few things I want to say.
Oh, go for it.
We're going to start with this deal with Matt Gates. They're bringing him up on sexual charges. He's being investigated on sexual charges, and he's being
Hi, Royal
for
Apple.
for. Well, this is the news. Matt Gates. Matt Gates is being brought up on sexual charges and illicit drugs. And I sat there listening to it. And y'all, I'm going to tell you, I sat there and I thought, what am I going to talk about today? What kind of news? And I went from one news thing to another. And I'm going to tell you something 99.9% of it was something about sex,
Oh
sexual
my
this,
god.
sexual that. And so all of a sudden my mind started wondering,
Uh-oh.
how come we didn't hear all this sex when Bill Clinton was doing his thing up there in the White House? We
No.
it came and it went. It was like the
Yeah.
end. The
Yeah.
end. It was here and gone. But I did notice that in all these things that I'd been watching, that there's somebody starting to rear their ugly head and they're starting to show themselves in public a lot. And I'm going to tell you, Hillary's getting ready to get herself back in somewhere. She may even take Biden's place and run for president. I don't know. But I'm telling you, she's sure showing herself a lot lately for someone that doesn't plan on doing anything.
I sure do have a funny feeling, and I've had this feeling for a while, but I have a funny feeling that at the last minute, they're going to pull him out and slap somebody else in there.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And
Yeah.
And I was thinking it could be Gruesome Newsom with his crunchy hair, but
I don't think so. I don't
I
think they
don't
have
think
enough
he's
filth
got
in
it.
him. I
I
don't.
don't
You know what? I think he's
think he
too
got it.
headstrong. I don't think he'd listen to their orders. I
I
think
don't
he'd
think
wanna
he's
do what
got
they
it.
wanted to do. No.
I just don't think that. I think he'd be like a cracker that would crumble under all the weight of everything that's going on. Because Putin's becoming friends with North Korea and
I know how stubborn. Mhm,
Vietnam, and all these people that
mhm.
are not our friends, and he's becoming friends. Oh, speaking of Gruesome Newsom, there he is. Um, he's on my TV right now. But anyway, so I was decided. Let me look into some couple things here. Do you know, Linda? I'm going to tell you something, and this is was a shocker. Have you ever heard of the site Ashley Madison?
Yeah, that's what, uh, that Duggar kid, he's in jail. He had a thing on Ashley Madison.
Do you know what that is?
Josh.
It's a cheating site.
Yeah, yeah, Josh Duggar. That and he would meet women through that.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
just go on there and you pay $88 a month, and you can go off and you can cheat on your husband,
Yep.
and so I was sitting there watching that. Then I was watching all of these other things that he did this and he did that, and this sex thing's going on and that sex thing's going on, and everybody's doing sex things going on. And I thought, all of a sudden, I thought, what makes us any different than Sodom and Gomorrah right now? I'm just curious.
No,
Except maybe we're Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0.
and you know what? It's not even it's not even uh well, there's no such it's not even good sex. It's just filthy and raunchy and nasty and it's disgusting.
Well, they call it a hookup.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to hook up with somebody? Well, get on this site. It's going to cost you $88 to be on the site a month, and then you can just go hook up.
Well, and you know what? That's happening a lot on dating websites too.
Well, they also brought up on that site because I was looking it up. Because then I thought, okay, well, I want to look up these cheating sites and see who they are. Do you know Match is one of them?
Yeah. And so are the ones for the seniors. There's
Just go
silver
hook up.
silver something and our time and okay Cupid and believe it or not, people in their 60s and 70s are out there looking for hookups. It's like, really?
I I don't think that's what God wanted us or
No.
intended that to be. So you just go hook up. Well, like I said, I just don't think there's much of a difference between us right now and Sodom and Gomorrah. I mean, I think you can pretty much we're just 2.0, you know.
Mhm.
So after all the depression stuff, I decided I was going to look up a few things in the Bible, because you know what?
Right.
Sometimes when you get yourself to the point you can't, it's all negative and it's all disgusting and it's all perverse, then you got to look up something that's more uplifting. And
You know what I find myself watching on TV? Besides, well, not I don't have regular cable. But I find myself watching the older shows, when comedy was funny,
right,
you
right,
know, like 70s, 80s shows,
right.
uh, and I can't stand where they're going with the film industry and the shows, I mean, I'll even there's a couple out there like Law and Order. That used to be a good show, but from what I hear, because I never watched it, but from what I hear, it's got that whole vibe going.
Everybody
That's
just
all
wants a
there is.
hookup. They just want to hook up.
Well, the hookup, and then you got the ones that new one that's running the Chicago Med Fire, all of that. and they got females, females, males, males, and it's like I don't want to see that. I
Well,
don't.
and you saw where old Marshmallow Head had to get up there and had to talk, and he was up there, and all of a sudden he just went, and there's it about and I thought, now what was that supposed to mean? I didn't understand any of that. Were you talking to aliens or what?
Really, I mean,
I don't think they're
does
going to be able to
anything
talk
run
him
through
out of
his
not
head?
running.
Does
No,
anything run through his head?
no, no,
I mean,
no,
it
no.
it's just beyond me. It's just beyond me where everything is going and where they're taking it. And by God, they unleash the devil and he is rampant. Rampant.
Oh, well, he's running the show right now. He just
Oh
had
yeah.
okay. So let me go into Revelations real quick when it talks about the Antichrist and it says, the Antichrist and the prophet. Well,
Mhm.
I got this weird feeling, the Antichrist could always be, it don't have to be a person. It could
Right.
be AI. It could be AI.
You're
And
right.
it's coming in just as strong as ever. I mean,
Mhm.
just food for thought.
Right.
And then they could just turn around and, here's my thing. Everything is coming in so quietly that when you look at your Bible and you look at the last days, you think,
Mhm.
oh, there is no way on earth that they could do that to me and I didn't know it. There's no way. There's no way they can give me the mark of the beast without me knowing it. You know what? It's awful quiet. Everything is awful quiet when they're doing their thing.
Yep.
You know? It's all right. Here's another one that kind of irritates me that was in the news. I'm sorry I'm ranting tonight, but Steve Bannon is getting ready to go to jail July 1st
Right.
because he didn't answer his subpoena. He's going for the same reason that Peter Navarro's in there right now, but he didn't answer his subpoena because the president told him things in confidence and he didn't have to testify. He don't have to. Under
Yeah,
law, he
he
don't have to.
didn't he wasn't he under the Presidential Act? If I'm
Yes.
not mistaken, that's what I heard, that
Yes.
he
Oh,
was under the Presidential Act, that
he
he didn't
was.
he couldn't disclose.
Right. So he said, well, he'll be more than happy to go to jail for to be a political prisoner. Okay, well, let me tell you this. Peter Navarro, I like Peter Navarro, but the prison that he's in right now is kind of a cushy place. And
Yeah.
he's off by himself,
Yeah.
right? But they want to put Steve Bannon in with the general population. Now, if that ain't a red flag for y'all to figure that one out, he's going to go to prison for a misdemeanor and they're going to put him in general population.
Right.
If that don't tell you they want somebody gone,
I
nothing does.
wanna I wanna know I wanna know how these people are going to jail on misdemeanors.
Well, their side can do anything.
That's
Haven't
what
you
I'm saying.
noticed? It's all about me and not thee, and I can do whatever I want to, and you need to shut up and just eat dirt and be happy.
Right. That's
Well,
what they want all of us to do.
I got news for you. I got news for you. American people aren't going to do that. They're not going to do that. They're not going to sit down, eat dirt, and be happy.
You know what? It's not just the Americans. I mean, look at England has had protests, France have had protests. I mean, they go, excuse the expression, balls to the wall.
Mm.
I mean, they are, look at what the farmers did. I mean, I kind of thought it was funny when the farmers came and dumped all their horse manure. I thought that was funny. But
Oh, I know that was over there in Germany, wasn't it? Or was it
no,
France?
it was England.
And
And
was it
then they
England
did
that
it
did that?
then they did it in France, just not too long ago.
you know what? People are going to get up and they're going to get mad and they're going to say, you know what? I ain't doing this. This isn't, my mama didn't have to do this and my daddy didn't have to do this and their parents didn't have to do this. And I'll be danged if I'm going to do this. Do you know it's a proven fact? It's a proven fact that the reason that World War III didn't come to our streets, that they didn't start a thing with us, was because they were afraid of the United States because all their citizens are packing and they're afraid of that.
Well,
That's
yeah.
the truth. But now they're trying to take our guns away. So
Well, of course. Of course. I mean, that's how it started. I wish I could remember which country, but there was somebody from another country, and they said it starts with them taking your guns. And before you know it, there you are
being
in
a being a
communism.
political slave, being a
Did you ever
political
notice?
slave.
Did you ever notice that they don't even say communist anymore? They say socialist now.
Yeah, well, we all know that it's beyond communist. It's flat demonistic. You know, you sit here and you think about all that stuff, and you think, well, we can't have God and God in schools, and we can't have God, and you can't mention him in public anymore because people raise their heads and rear
Yeah.
up like a bucking bronco, and but they can talk about Satan,
Oh yeah.
and that's okay. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all are aware of this man. Um, many months ago, my good friend LJ was doing a show, and this name came to my head, and I had to look it up. It just came to my head.
Yeah.
I never even heard of the man, so I had to look him up because I thought I don't know even who this person is, and I looked him up. And if there is anything that a human being is going to be the Antichrist, it's this man. I'm telling you right now, it's this man. And he can talk and make it sound so good. I was just showing you him.
Yeah.
And he's got the crowd all going. In
He's
fact,
successful.
here, I'm going to show you just a little tiny bit of him just so y'all can see what we're talking about so I don't sound like a crazy person.
It's horrible, guys. Hang on to your hats.
Yeah, because this is unbelievable. Truly unbelievable.
Sounds like the dude from the Who, the WHO.
Yeah, it's true. All right, here we go, guys.
In God?
No,
So, do you believe in God?
no.
Okay, so you don't believe in God.
The word is problematic. There are two kinds of gods in the world, and people tend to mix them. There is one God, the mystery God, about which we know nothing. The chief characteristic of this God is that he is mysterious, and humans can't understand and can't say anything about this God. And like people ask, I mean, who started the Big Bang, or how did life start, and all the things that science doesn't know, people say, oh, this is God. And this is a mysterious God. The chief characteristic of the mysterious God is that we know nothing about him, or her, or it, and I'm perfectly happy with this God. Then there is a completely opposite kind of God, the concrete lawgiver God. And about this God, we know far too much. We know exactly what this God thinks about female fashion, about human sexuality, about who should you vote on elections, everything. And it's like a magic trick that you have a magician that tries to fool you, shows you one card, and then you don't notice it changes the card to some other card. So it's the same with God. When you ask people about God, they say, oh, it's a big mystery, and we don't know, and science can't explain this and that. Okay. And somehow they then switch gods and say, because of this, women should put a hat on their head, and two men shouldn't have sex with one another, and you should vote for this party or that party. And this is the dangerous trick. And this is the God in which I don't believe. I think that if there is a force, if there is a force responsible for the great mystery of life and the universe and the black holes and the galaxies, I don't think he really cares about female dress code.
All right. So, in watching that, guys, I want you to know that he is married to another man. Just FYI, not that that's a big thing or whatever floats your boat, but he said he doesn't believe that Jesus died on the cross. He doesn't believe in any of that stuff. He says it's all a big fairy tale and we all just bought into it. And I want to tell him, you know what, Mr. Harara, you're in big trouble because you're going to find out that there is a God, and and it's going to be way too late for you. It's a sick, sad thing. What do you think, Royal Apple? Don't you think he's a real winner? I think he's a big loser myself, but you're right. He is probably reptilian. You know, there's a few things in life that we're doing that we shouldn't be doing, and one of them is blasphemy. And doing that, of course, he said there is no God. Okay, well that's blasphemy. So you already strike one. And greed is the other one. Right now, our people are so greedy. It's not funny. It's let me see who I can take and how much money I can get from whoever for whatever reason. That's not good either. That's not good either.
No.
And you know, they in the Bible it talks about do not have false prophets or do not have false gods. How many people do you know right now that are out there that are put P. Diddy on a pedestal? Like he was little tin god, or Epstein was probably another one. They did that too, or J-Lo, or whoever up there in Hollywood. Everybody's putting them up on this pedestal, and you know what? I'm gonna tell you right now. If you cut them, they bleed red just like you do, and they put their pants on one leg at a time, just like I do. I sure can't jump into them.
You know what's even worse than Hollyweird? Is they put sports figures on a pedestal and they get paid ridiculous amounts of money. I'm going to tell you, we just fired the head coach of the Pistons because he had one season and they fired him.
Why?
Because he wasn't doing a good job, I guess. I don't know. I don't follow basketball, but I have to see this. He had a contract. They have to pay him $65 million to pay
for the
out
one season
to pay out his contract. Now, this person also was a head coach for another team, and I don't know. I think he had 2 years there, and he got fired, and he got $20 million. So in 3 years, he made $85 million for not being good.
Wow. Isn't that shocking? That's really
not
shocking.
being good at his job. He made $85 million. And there's people out there that can't make $70,000 working their butts off.
You know, you're right. You're right. It's truly amazing. I don't know if you know who Kevin Sarbos is. He does a lot of the religious movies, like There Is No God's Not Dead and those kind of
Uh-huh.
things. And do you know he's now teamed up with Noble Gold?
Oh, good.
He has, because he's like, you know what? We need to cover ourselves. And I, it's like, Kevin, you're a little slow here, but it's all right. It's nice to have you on board. Um, it's a scary world we live in, and it's all right. So the big thing in Hollywood right now is Ben Affleck is leaving J Lo because he wants a quiet life and she wants to be the center of attention. And he said, I don't want my life like that.
Right.
But then I read this little article, and it's really kind of surprising to me because Jennifer is worth quite a bit of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when she was with Mark Anthony,
Mm-hmm.
they went out to dinner, and Mark Anthony leaves a pretty substantial tip.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when Mark Anthony was walking out of the restaurant, J Lo went back and took back that money and put a little tiny tip on the table.
No, she did
She
not.
sure did. She sure did. And Mark Anthony watched her do it and went over there and handed the waitress some money.
Where's that precious little just Jenny from the block on the block?
She ain't no Jenny from the block. She's Jenny from the trash can. You know what? It all went to her head when they voted her the most beautiful woman in America.
And I don't know how that even happened.
I don't
I
either. I
don't
don't know
even know
who
how
was
that happened.
running. I don't even know who's running.
Who'd
But
she pay? Oh, wait a minute. You know what? Maybe Diddy paid them to make it happen.
well, she went out with him too. She's
Mm-hmm.
been married. They were saying she's been married 4 times and has had numerous engagements. They
Yes.
said they say J Lo is in love with love, but she don't want to be married to anybody. She wants to boss them around, and tell them what to do. That
Right.
ain't gonna happen. I've never seen a man in the world you could boss around and tell what to do. You have to reason with them.
Yep. Yep. I I I have to tell you this because I did hear some good news actually.
Oh, good. I'd love to hear some good news because I've been seeing nothing but depressing stuff.
Louisiana passed a bill.
Uh huh.
They have to display the 10 commandments in the public classrooms.
You know what? That's awesome.
Isn't it though?
That is awesome. They need to be displaying the Ten Commandments all over everywhere. You know, in the Bible, you had Jezebel. Jezebel was one that had all uh, she had the concubines and all that kind of stuff, helping her and bidding her everything. And well, um, she's the one statue that has the horns that come around and curl around her head, and that's the statue they put up on top of the Capitol building in New York.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought to myself, you know what? That was a bad move. That was a bad move. That's like, I'm going to bring that up too. Some people like to put those what are they called? And they put them out they'll have a pedestal, and then they'll have these creatures sitting up on top of them. They're called
Gargoyles.
yeah, and they want to put those in front of their house, and I don't want them in front of my house. I don't
Mm-mm.
think there's anything pretty about them. I don't want them in front of my house.
No, no. My mom and dad used to have lions.
You know what, Royal Apple? Yeah, J Lo is done with her husband. They're getting a divorce, and they got their house up for sale that they haven't even had a year yet. It's pretty sickening.
Yep.
And by the way, what's really funny is that Ben Affleck put a restraining order on her so that she couldn't be around his kids. How about that one?
Well, that's good because they go to the same school. Her kids and his kids go to the same school. I saw that because Ben's son just graduated and J-Lo showed up
With flowers?
and her kids were there and Jennifer Gardner was there. You know, if he wanted a quiet life, he should have stayed with her.
Royal Apple, it is kind of incredibly sad that they got divorced, but I gotta tell you something. You know, not everybody, yeah, it is for the children.
Yeah.
It is for the children. And you know, let me tell you something. She was married. I'm trying to think of who she was married to before. Oh, I think it was the one that she was engaged to that was the baseball player.
Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah, and she got in with his kids, and she tried to make them feel like they were the most important thing, and they were all going to be a happy family. And then when she left him, she blew his kids off just like old trash.
Yep. Well, of
This
course.
is what's sad about her. She likes to wrap herself around like an octopus, wrap herself around the kids and show that she's all that. And everything that Jennifer Gardner was trying to teach her kids about having morals and everything, J-Lo was trying to change. And Jennifer Gardner said, I'm sorry, Ben, but I don't want our kids around her,
Right.
you know? So
Right.
I'm
She is
not Jenny on the block.
She is a snake in sheep's. She's a sheep in a wool coat.
Yep. And
That's
yeah,
how I look at it
she is
because
a wolf in sheep clothing. She definitely is.
yeah, yeah. I mean, come on. She's been engaged how many times? Look,
Numerous, they said. Numerous.
she's
I
been
couldn't even tell you how
involved.
many.
Yeah, she's been involved with Diddy. She's been involved with a lot of low life people.
You're right, Royal Apple. They should stay far, far, far away from her. Run,
You're
run.
right.
They said that
You're right.
they said right now she's in that she's had a nervous breakdown and she's in the hospital. I don't believe any of that either. Come on, I don't believe that. She is so in love with herself, there ain't no room to love anybody else. She better watch out because Diddy's in trouble. And that shooting over there at that bar that she was packing and
Yeah.
gave it to Diddy. Um, she's just as guilty as he is, and she better watch out.
Oh yeah.
That's all I gotta say. She better watch out because they could get her on those charges too.
Yeah. That's for sure. Definitely for sure.
She wanted to bring up that, remember when they were engaged the first time and he gave her that pink diamond, it was all that, and then now I don't know what color this last one was, but it was Benifer.
Yeah.
Remember? She wanted to drum that all back up again. Nobody was having it. They could have cared less. They had moved on already by that time.
Right. Right. Yeah. But, if he could have quit gambling and drinking, he would have still been with Jennifer Garner.
Yeah, well, you know what? J-Lo, every time they went to any parties or anything, if he had a drink in his hand, she had to sniff it or smell it or taste it because she wanted to make sure he wasn't drinking. And I thought, lady, I'm going to tell you right now, if I was with you, this glass would be plumb full with whatever I could find to make it go away. Just make it go away. You're not going. I'm too old for you to mommy me like that.
Right. Right. Yes, he does.
Yeah, he does. He does. And but he's working on it. You know, he went to rehab, and he had been sober as a church mouse for quite a while, and had his life together and had his act together, and then he got back with J-Lo, and everything went back downhill again. Well, here's a good one. All right, guys, here's a good one. Let me tell you something. If you're a loving, kind, wonderful person and you're with somebody and you know that they're an alcoholic, are you going to bring out your own alcohol line?
Hmm.
She did. She brought out her own alcohol line, knowing good and well that he couldn't be around it.
Well, we'd have to look into that because it could have been in the works for a few years. I'm not defending her, but it could have been in the works before they got back together.
Well, I would have put the squelch on it, but she didn't. She put it right out there and showed herself drinking it and was all proud of it.
It's
I
'cause she
don't
needs the
know.
money.
I don't know if Jennifer Gardner wants him back.
Oh
I
no,
think she's engaged to somebody, isn't she?
I don't know.
I
I
thought
don't
I
know.
heard that Jennifer Gardner's engaged to somebody else. I don't think she
Well,
wants
good for
Ben back.
her. Good for her.
You know,
Yeah, yeah,
Ben's got a lot of healing to do, and
yeah.
he isn't good for anybody right now. He needs to just get
You're
himself
right.
together because
Yeah, yeah.
that
I
one
would
done
have
a
to
number
agree.
on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's definitely in it for herself.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. And another thing I was thinking about is, in the Bible it talks about in the last days there will be famine and there will be earthquakes and tornadoes and hurricanes and there'll be wars and rumors of wars.
Yep.
I want you to turn on the TV and see if you don't see all of that right now. All of it.
Oh, absolutely.
But I'm going to tell you that it's not that time yet. It's not that time yet. Our the other guy that wants to run the show or thinks he wants to run the show is trying to speed up time and it ain't going to happen. Our good Lord ain't going to let that happen. He ain't speeding up nothing.
No,
So,
the sad thing about all of this is that we got another year of this crap. It's going to come to a head by the end of the year, and then it's going to go into next year.
let me ask you about that. Speaking of, so if there's an election, notice how I said if there is,
Mm-hmm.
because they already have their idea of exactly what they're going to do. Okay, they already have their idea of what they're going to do. If they have an election and the big T wins, they're going to fight it. They're going to do what Mike Pence should have done in the first place, but they're going to do it because it's on their side, and they're going to send it all back to the states, and they're going to fight it right there. Yeah,
Oh, of
and it's
course
like,
they are.
what was the first thing they said? Why can't you just take this and
Accept it.
and accept it? Well, they're not going to. They're not
Well,
going to
hold up.
accept it.
Hold up. Didn't Hillary try to fight it? And didn't she say she would never concess?
And she didn't, did she? I don't think she ever did.
No, no, but neither did Trump to Biden. So
Well, they're going to fight it, and if they can't do that, they're going to be a war. And they're so close to that right now. It's not funny. Everybody's against everybody. It's just I got this gut feeling. It's like everybody's sitting over the button, going, "Who's going to do it first?"
mm-hmm.
And it's sickening. It's sickening.
Well, we have that Russian battleship back off the coast of Florida. It's not staying down in Cuba. It keeps coming up the coast of Florida.
And
What are
now we
you
got more than that.
and
He
you're
just brought in
promoting?
more than that.
And we have Chinese balloons overhead. Huh. I wonder if they're communicating. What do you think?
Well, I don't know, but it was okay because old Marshmallow Head said that they can just have that balloon. It can just hoover over. It's just a balloon. And he let it hoover all over the United States before he decided to take it down. Really?
All over our air bases.
Twice.
And Yeah, okay. The one in Cheyenne Mountain, that's a bunker, but the one in St. Louis or by St. Louis,
Hmm.
that's our big nuclear base.
And they're flying over that all the time. I saw that.
Oh,
They
yes.
are.
Yes, they did. And, kind of just like hovered there. But, it was just a weather balloon.
Royal Apple, I'm gonna tell you, I'm in South Texas, and we got 8 inches of rain. Um, but it's not as bad, I don't think, as they made it out to be. But we got another one coming. So there's two more coming, one going to Florida, one coming here. Something crazy. I don't know. I just heard that today. I thought, well, this is what happens when you try to play God. And you go and you seed all of the clouds, and let me ask you something. I need to do a study on this because I don't know. But let me ask you. So they put that, what is it, zinc oxide into the
Yeah,
clouds, and
something
and
like that.
and that makes if there's rain in those clouds, that's what freezes it up and makes all these great big huge hail
Uh-huh.
stones that are coming down. Well, let me ask you, what do you think that zinc oxide is doing when it gets into the ocean and it bottoms out?
Right.
Is it stirring up the hurricanes, or is it starting a tsunami? What's it doing? It's got to be doing something. If it can do what it's doing to the clouds, God only knows what it's doing when it gets into the ocean.
I think you just hit the nail on the head. Ding, 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 ding.
Mm,
That's why the hurricanes are getting worse.
mhm.
Hurricanes don't start in the air.
No, no. And they said this is going to be the worst season that America has ever seen.
Yeah, can we just say a prayer from September 14th to the 21st? No hurricanes. Please, no hurricanes. Because I am right on the water.
You know what? It starts June 1st.
I know it does.
I know. We don't ever
But
get ours until August or September, and
I didn't
we're
want to
still
go
in
in the
June.
middle of the heat.
Oh, I know. I know. And I'm telling you, we never get ours until September, August, or September. And here it is June, and we just had a tropical storm, Alberto. What is going? Come on, guys. You can wrap your head around that one. It don't take much to figure that out. You know, I was watching this thing and I laughed so hard. You think that when Biden's out there on his campaign trail and everything, he's got that thing in his ear, they're telling him, all right, now, Joe, I want you to turn to the left. No, no, Joe, I want you to look to the left. Good, good, good. Now I want you to look to the right. Great. You're doing great. Now I want you to kind of stumble a little bit. Yeah, I want you to stumble a little bit because we want them to think you're crazy. They don't have to do that because man, he's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Somebody definitely wasn't directing him when he was in France.
Well, that debate on the 27th of this month, he doesn't want to sit down. He doesn't want to stand up. He wants to sit down.
Of course. Of course. You know, um, I sent you something I think on Messenger. And it was a bunch of his gaffes and boo-boos.
Uh huh.
If you look closely, that is not the same person repeatedly.
You're right. You know
It's like
what?
2 or 3 different people.
You look at the different pictures of him and you tell me that that's the same person all the time. In fact, you know what? Hang on a second. You go ahead and talk, and I'm going to do this real quick.
And that is not the same person, because one time it looks like an older version of him. Another time it's a man that has like those deep set, um, like older people when They get older. I don't want to say beady eyes, but they're like deep set eyes. That's another version of it. Then there's another version of it that, can come out like a stoic president. Like, I can sit here and talk all day long. It's not making sense. And if people can't figure it out, then shame on them. Shame on them.
All right. Watch this. All right. Are you ready to watch this? You tell me that this is the same person in all these pictures. Get a good look, because it ain't.
No, it's
That
not.
one right there, this one right here.
Which one?
That one, it's the second one from the top. He looks like he's all right. But then you go down 4 others and he looks confused. And the one on the end on the second row definitely looks like he's confused. But the one underneath that doesn't look like him at all.
Right.
Who the heck who is that man? That and it says Joe Biden, but it's not. That is not Joe Biden. I don't know who that is.
No.
No.
The man with many faces. I mean, and it's not funny.
Mm-mm.
Not funny.
Mm-mm. No, it's actually kind of scary.
And I get it that they have body doubles. I do. I understand that.
Well, he has more than one. He's
That's
got about
what I'm
15 of
saying.
them. He's got about 15 of them.
Mm-hmm.
One has bigger ears and one has smaller ears, and one smiles and the other one don't, and one doesn't look as old as the other one does, and one looks like a possum, I'm telling you.
No kidding. No kidding.
Well, welcome back, Royal Apple. Where'd you go? Yeah, I mean, it's not the same man. That is not the same man in all those pictures.
No, it's not.
And they say that they can give him some stuff for like they give to I am Royal Apple drinking a monster drink. It's sugar free. That makes any difference. I just kind of think to myself, I wonder how many Obamas there are out there.
Oh, there's a few, because sometimes if you look, his ears are bigger and they're higher and they're lower, And I got a funny story to tell you.
Go ahead, I want to hear it.
I was talking to the new man, and I got an emergency alert from New York Prepper. And I turned it on and I was listening to it, and he's like, "That can't be real." And I said, "Oh, it's very real. Trust me, it's very, very real."
Mm-hmm.
And because he doesn't really watch the news or anything, but they're not showing it on the news anyway, And I said, you haven't been following anything? And he's like, no, I said, there is Russian battleships off the coast of Florida and in Cuba. He's like, no, that's not possible.
There sure is. And there's subs too.
Yep.
They're everywhere. And Canada has one out there.
Really?
Also, they said, this is what I got to say. I'd hate to be living in Cuba right now because they're being surrounded and they're like, wait a minute, what are all these things doing here?
No, they're probably happy. They're probably in cahoots with Russia.
Oh my God, I hope
they gotta be. They gotta be if they're right off their coast. I mean, and Cuba's as dirty can be. Yeah, and my daughter-in-law, I got a cloth map of countries and of the states. And my other daughter-in-law sewed it together like a blanket for Ellie Mae.
Aww.
For me. And my daughter-in-law that didn't make it, she says, she's looking at the states and she's like, I mean, at the countries. And she's like, well, maybe we need to move here. Or maybe and she says, maybe we should move to Argentina. I said, no, you don't want to move to Argentina. You don't want to move to Venezuela. And she's like, well, maybe we should move to Brazil. I said, that's the murder capital of the world.
Right
And she
now,
says,
there's nowhere you can go.
yeah. And she says, well, maybe we should move to South America. And I'm like, really? I mean, she said Africa. I'm sorry, South Africa. I'm like, really? She's like, well, what
Mm-mm.
about Madagascar? She's like, it's be like the movie. I said, that's a cartoon. Yeah. So she says, maybe we can move to Canada. I said, Canada is probably
Trudeau
worse off
country.
than we are. Yeah, it's probably worse off than we are. And she's like, well, where can we move to?
There
I
ain't a place. There ain't a place. You know what? You go over to Dubai because you know what? All of anybody's got a house over there in Dubai. Ask the Clintons. I think they have one over there.
You can't afford to live in Dubai.
At one time, you probably could have.
I don't think there's anything but Rolls Royces, Mercedes, Lamborghinis, Maseratis. I don't think there's any kind of an American car there. There's no Ford, there's no Chevys, there's no GMs, there's none of
Mm-mm.
that. They're
Mm-mm.
all, they're all Italian cars and German cars and good for them.
They're
Good
not
for them.
electric. I'll tell you that right now. None of them are electric.
No. No, but and I'm also waiting to hear when they pave their streets with marble, because that'll be soon.
Wow, they're trying to make heaven in Dubai. Well, they don't.
Yeah.
Heaven is paved with gold, so it ain't marble. Wow.
Have you ever seen pictures of Dubai? I mean, have you ever seen pictures
No, but
of
I
the
know that
homes?
there's they got that dancing fountain that is singing that song from Whitney Houston.
Their homes are unreal. It's all golden marble. All golden marble. All of the homes.
And the Clintons have one over there. How'd that happen?
I don't know. Well, the Clinton Foundation probably paid for it.
You know what? You're probably right. In fact, I know you're right. Because Clinton Foundation paid for everything that old Bill. I saw a thing where, when Bill and Hillary got together here recently, because I tell you, she's rearing her head up to do something,
Mhm.
and Bill looked over and said, "Oh, it's nice to see you again." Like they ain't been spending no time together. I don't think so. He's probably all snuck off like Jennifer Flowers.
He's probably got Alzheimer's too, or dementia.
I'm gonna say this, and God love him. I wasn't much of a Carter fan, because
Mhm.
he was too good for his own good, and he wanted to give everything away.
Mhm.
Um, and he wanted to give things away because he's a Christian man. He wasn't giving it away like Biden is trying to give it away to just get rid of us. Carter gave away the Panama Canal because he said it wasn't in our country. So what do we need it for? But he's been in hospice for months. For months. I'm telling you, it's almost
Coming
been
up
a
on a
year.
year.
And that man
Yep.
does not, he's not letting it go. He's over 100. He ain't letting it go. He ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
Mm-mm.
Of course, that's all up to the good Lord when he takes him, and maybe he ain't ready for him yet.
Right. Right. Well, I do have to say, him and his wife really, really did good with Habitat for Humanity.
You know what? That was a real marriage there. That really was. That was a real marriage. the
Yeah.
Carter marriage was, because they were. I mean, they were together. She did for her husband, and she loved him, and he loved her just as much.
Mhm.
Now Hillary and Bill's another story, and Michelle and Barack is another story too. I don't know if their marriages are all really
Michael
all
and
that.
Gary.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was getting to when I was telling you, that I got that alert,
Mhm.
and I, I said to him, he was said something about Obama, and I'm like, yeah, and Michelle is a man, and he's like, what? I said, her real name's Michael, and he's like, no, and he's like, you mean he has a thingy like I have? I said, mm-hmm.
And then some.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes. And he's like, no, I can't believe that. I'm like, oh
It's the truth. It's the truth. All that stuff is coming to a head. Everybody's gonna, you know what? They're gonna learn some stuff that they'll never believe ever in their. You know, my mama watches Joel Osteen, and she just loves Joel Osteen.
oh,
And I never watched him because something about him gave me the creeps. I don't know what it was, but there
me
was just something
too.
about him
Me too.
I didn't like. But I'm going to tell you this: when his wife got on that airplane and slapped that stewardess, that was the end of that for me. That is not Christianity. That isn't even Christian. Go slapping people. No,
Mm-mm,
no.
mm-mm.
And she wanted to be in first class, and they put her in coach.
At least she was in coach and not in economy.
Well, but she did. She said, "Do you know who I am? And I need to be in first class." And that
You should have paid for a
stewardess said,
first class ticket.
"Yeah." That stewardess said, "I don't care who you are. You paid this much for your ticket. This is where you're going to sit." And she slapped
Right.
her. She slapped her right there on the plane. I thought, you know what? If there's anybody on here, that's Joel Osteen's wife. Everybody, I want you to know that's Joel Osteen's wife.
Right.
If
Right.
y'all want to watch him on TV, his ministry, he gets up there and you know what he says, which is the most far-fetched thing I've ever heard of, but he says, all you got to do is ask for it and God will give it to you. All you got to do, because God will answer all the prayers of your heart and all your wants of your heart because you asked for it. I don't think that's the way that works.
No, I don't think so either. Because I've been asking for $1 billion for years and years and years, and
And you
I've
ain't
yet to
got it
get it.
yet?
No, and I don't even think through the course of me working, I've even made 1 million. So he couldn't say, "Well, I gave it to you. It took you 50 years to get it, but I gave it to you."
No, no. I think he gives us what he thinks what we need. He gives us the needs. He doesn't give us the wants.
Right,
You
right.
know? But Joel
Well,
says all you have to do is just ask for it and he'll give
and,
it to you.
and you know what? That just makes me believe that they're all slimy with the devil because they start a church and they might have started out on the right side, but
Hmm.
then all this money starts pouring in and the greed starts pouring in and the
Hmm.
nonsense starts rolling off the tongue.
You know, I'm telling you, it's just as scary as it can be. Life right now is
It
just as
is.
scary as it can
It
be.
is. It really, really is. I mean, and here's the thing too. It's not just scary from looking at the younger generation. I
Mm-mm.
I did that show on scammers of our age and older.
Oh yeah, they're gonna scam all of us. They're not gonna.
How
There's no age
how
limit on it.
how in the world have you lived your life, worked your life, retired, and where is it a good idea to go on websites and scam people? Where is
It's
that okay?
It's not. It's not. They're getting away. People believe that the golden rule is do unto others as you would
Mhm.
have them do unto you.
Right.
Well, it isn't that way anymore. They changed it up, and there is do unto others before they get a chance to do unto you. It's just not fair and it's not
Mm-mm.
right. And
No.
nope, nope.
Well, we know we won't be seeing them in the afterlife.
I know. No, there's a Sparky's gonna get to meet with them.
I hope so. You know,
Yep.
I
I
hope so.
believe it. I believe it. I
That's
believe
just
Sparky's gonna meet him.
that's just like these. I have a very very hard time, and just hear me out. I have a very hard time on serial killers and serial rapists and killers and child molesters that sit on death row and they claim they found Jesus.
Jesus is found more on the jailhouse floor than he is anywhere else. Because you know what? That's
I
the
have a
end.
hard time believing that A, you found Jesus, and B, I have a hard time believing you are going to get into heaven. Now, I'm not saying all, because there are probably some that,
Mm. They
realize
really truly
it.
mean it. They really
Right.
truly mean it. Mm.
But I really don't think we're going to be seeing too many Ted Bundys and, the likes of that up there.
I don't think so either. I think they've met Sparky. You know, speaking of that, they were talking about the different things that go on in prison, and wow, just wow. I
Yeah.
can't even imagine. I just can't even imagine living like that. And do
I'll
you
tell you
know if
what.
there was a war, if there was a World War III broke out, all those people in Florence prison, that's the high
Right.
class prison, where like the BTQ bomber or whatever, he's
Yeah,
over there,
yeah.
and El Chapo's over there. Do you know that they're not getting out. They'll just do a lockdown.
And you know what? God forbid, like if we ever had to go to jail for something or false imprisonment, is what I'm saying. Because we would never, well, I can't say we would never go to jail, but they would try to get us on something eventually if we did something.
They got that lady, that grandma, for
I
sitting
know. I know.
outside that Planned Parenthood singing Christian
I
music.
know. I
They
know.
put her
And
in
that's what
jail.
I'm saying. We would never think we would go to jail for something like that. But if a former president can face jail time for misdemeanors, then who knows? But all I'm saying is, please put me right to solitary confinement. I will
Right?
be happier than heaven to
Mhm.
stay all by myself. I'm
Right?
good.
I would. I
Just bring
would
me
just
my meal.
head and bring me a book. I'll just sit there and read it over and over and over.
I'd
You
rather be
know.
in solitary. You'd be doing me a favor putting me in solitary.
Oh my God, Linda, I got another one to tell you. And you know what, Royal Apple, you need to listen to this because this is really true, the truth. Um, Lee, Gr- Lee Greenwood partnered up with Trump, and they
Yep.
have a Bible out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And at the back pages of it, it gives the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and all that kind of stuff. And they say it's amazing. It's a King James version, but everybody right now is saying Trump wrote his own Bible. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He didn't write his own Bible. It's the same Bible you and I have. It's same words, still has the same red lettering in it. It does. It is not. Trump did not write a Bible, and I thought that's as crazy as this people get. That's just flat asinine that they would even think of that. They'd come up with that, but they did. But from what I
God,
understand, it's beautiful.
I think God would get mad at me if I ever wrote my own Bible
I don't
because
think we're
I would just
supposed
I
to.
would just have to say it the way it is. It's
Well,
listen,
yeah,
listen,
yeah,
losers.
yeah. This is what's going to happen to you if you're going to meet Sparky, and y'all are going to become really good friends if you don't watch out.
Right. Right.
Mm, mm.
I mean, maybe that's what needs to happen for all these lane brains that don't believe in the Bible and don't understand the Bible And the wording can be tricky. I will grant you that. And of course, everybody has their own interpretation. Uh, but yeah,
However it hits your heart.
maybe we do need a Bible for dummies. Oh,
Hey,
honey,
there it is. The Bible
an
for Dummies.
epiphany.
There you
Bible for
go.
dummies.
The Bible for Dummies. Do you know that, speaking of that, that I want to know who said it was okay that the Catholic Church took some of the books out of the Bible that they don't want us to read? Like Enoch has his own book. You
Right,
know, he was supposed to
right.
be in the Bible, but they took him out. They didn't want us to hear what he had to say.
Oh no.
And I so I had to look up and see what was all about Enoch's Bible. Well, let me tell you what happened there. And I thought, well, no wonder they didn't want us to read it. Um, there were four angels that came from heaven and they came down to the earth and they procreated with human women. Yeah. And those were the four angels that were buried underneath the Euphrates River. And they said once the Euphrates River dries up, that these four angels are going to come out. But I always wondered where Goliath came from. You know, David and Goliath. I always wonder where Goliath came from. They never talk about big old giant people anywhere else but in that story. Well, there he is. That's where he came from. He was one of those procreations.
Yeah,
Goliath.
but wait a minute. Angels aren't people, though.
Well, they procreated, and that's how Goliath came around. They might not have procreated the way we procreate, but they procreated. And that's where Goliath was one of the smaller of them, of that whole group of them. No wonder
Mm.
God no wonder God flooded the world. We got to get rid of all this
You know what?
evidence.
I think that's what's happening again.
We got to get rid of all this evidence here that's going on with all these crazy people.
Oh, sometimes I just sit back and think how wonderful it must have been to live in the 50s, and then I think in the 1800s, and then I think how nice it would have been to live when Jesus was around. There wasn't the hustle and bustle, there wasn't this, there wasn't that, and there was, you could walk for days and not see anybody.
It was a quiet life.
That would have been perfect.
You just. But there was during Jesus' time that they were brutal.
I know.
They threw people.
Well, the Romans were.
Yeah. See, okay. So when they talk about, they say the seven churches,
Yeah.
and what that's talking about is seven empires, and the
Mhm.
last empire was the Great Britain Empire, but the one before that was the Roman Empire. And it talks about how bad that church is, that Roman Empire. And we were just talking about that. We had this conversation going, and they said, "Well, what church is going to go to heaven?" And they said the Bible says what church is going to go. I said, "No, don't you understand? When he talks about the church, he's talking about a collective bunch of people. He's not saying Baptist or Methodist or Lutheran or Catholic. He's talking about his church, all his believers. That's his church."
Church is a gathering of two or more people.
Yes. Yes. And it's in your heart. And it's not what denomination you are.
Yep.
I
Yep.
think churches for it's like a support group.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's how I would look at it.
but I just we said, well, that the Catholic's the only church that's going to go to heaven. And I said, I don't think
Yeah.
so.
I
I don't
don't
think
think so.
so. I don't think so. But they said,
No.
They said recently that Jesus showed himself on the top of the hill, Mount Olives in Israel, showing himself to everybody. And I said that must have been a hologram because that's not supposed to be the way that goes. All eyes will see him, not just ones that were in Israel.
Well,
You know,
maybe it was an angel and they just perceived it as Jesus. Because, they all probably looked the same. We really don't know what Jesus looks like.
no,
We really don't.
no, we don't.
Um,
We don't.
and I mean, I have seen many versions of Jesus with beards, without beards, with long hair, with short hair, So,
Mhm. We don't really truly know.
no.
We got a pretty good idea that
Well, yeah.
he's going to look Middle Eastern because that's where he's
Well,
from.
yeah, and that's where the first problem comes in with the Catholic Church is that they have him as a white man. He's not white.
No, he's
He's
not
not
white because he
white.
was from somewhere else. He's
He's not
Jewish.
white. Exactly. He's Jewish. He's not white. You know.
No, he's going to look like they did all that whole area yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, have you ever been into a black person's house?
Oh yeah.
They have black Santa Clauses and they have black Jesuses too in their house. And that's okay if that's what they want to believe. That's fine. That's fine. Believe
Mhm.
and think of him any way that you want to.
As
But I
long as
just
you
kind of
believe.
that as long as you believe you could think he was green, I don't care. I
Exactly.
just I just heard that thing where he showed himself up on the hill just to the Jewish, and I thought,
No.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I think that's a hologram. Somebody was probably up there projecting a picture, and they said, oh look, Jesus is up there. I see him up on the hill."
Yeah, do you ever see one of those pictures of like somebody taking a picture and somebody's got their hand like this and they're holding the moon?
No,
You've
but
never seen a picture like that?
yeah, but I can see where you could do it.
Well, yeah, usually the person stands far back enough, and if you
Yeah,
stand like this, you can hold the moon. You
sure,
know,
sure.
and maybe that it was something like that.
It had to have been something like that because you know
Yeah,
what? I know that he didn't just show up over there.
yeah, yeah. That's for sure. That's for sure because I think it would have been in the news around the world.
Oh, you know what? They don't tell stuff like that in the news. They only want to tell you the horrible things in the news. Like
Yeah.
Marjorie Taylor Greene told somebody that their fake eyelashes were getting in the way. What? Was that important? I don't think that was important. I don't think I needed to hear about that. But anyway.
Yeah. I like it because I don't know how the news is there, but we have a channel here that they kind of like the channel for Lester Holt, whatever, nightly news or whatever it is. They try to go off on a good thought of the day.
Now, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice to hear something positive for a change? We were talking about that. Wouldn't it be nice to have a channel that did nothing but good news?
Oh,
Nobody'd watch it. Nobody watch it. Nobody wants to hear good news. They all want to hear all the bad news.
right. Well, right now there really is not too much
I can't
good
think of
news.
anything that we could do that was a good news thing.
Uh-huh.
The good news thing is if they don't put Steve Bannon in jail, I'll be up here. I'll be the first one on going on live saying, guess what? He ain't going.
Right.
I worry about him going into general population. I don't think that's right. I think I think they're trying to get rid of him.
Yeah, I think so.
For
I think
speaking
so.
his mind and telling the truth. We'll put you in jail. We'll
Mm-hmm.
put you in prison.
Yep. Yep. Funny. I don't know.
It's sad, is what it is. It's extremely sad, and I don't know how some of these people live with themselves.
I don't either.
Didn't Hillary Clinton not too long ago have a cooking show?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think she had a cooking show with her daughter. It didn't last very long. I'm telling you, because I don't know how she could cook. She's too busy getting into everybody's business. You know what, Royal Apple? I'm telling you, we need good news. Any kind of good news.
I got
You
a new
know.
boyfriend.
Oh, Willard.
Mm.
Willard McBain.
Yep. Yep.
He's
Yep.
a nice guy. Guys, he's a nice guy. He's a real nice guy. I like him.
He treats me good.
And that's good because that's what it's all about.
Yep.
That's what it's all about. It's being treated good and having respect for each other.
Yeah. No, his name really isn't Willard, but we're just going to use Willard. I don't want to out him. There's a long story behind it, Royal Apple. It's a funny one. We'll have to tell you sometime
Yeah, that's
offline.
Willard McBain. But you know what? He's good and he's good to her. And I'm happy for that.
Me too.
You know, his name could be anything. I don't care what you name him, but I named him Willard. I named him Willard.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I even gave him a last name, McBain.
Yep.
But like I said, he's a good person, and that's what it's all about. That's what it's
Yep.
all about. That she deserves. I'm telling you right now, Miss
Oh,
Linda deserves a good person. She don't need any of those crazy ones like Oscar. You know, I'm going to tell you right now, there's just some names that you hear in your life that you just run and you run as fast as you can. And that's one of them. That's one of them. If I went on a date and he said his name was Oscar, I'd have to say, you know what? I got a phone call. I got to go. See you later.
and you know another thing I realized?
Mm.
People should not name their children John because they're all full of poop.
That's
I'm
a good
sorry
one,
if
too.
anybody has a child named John out there, but
That's
the
a good
Johns
one.
I ran across, they should just stay as bathrooms.
Go see
That's
the
my
John.
opinion.
Got to go to the John. Oh my God! You know what? The things that we said, how we changed the words, the meanings of words.
Right.
I got a story to tell you that's really funny. My mama used to tell me and my brother that if we broke wind or anything, she'd go, "Ooh, that's kinky. That's that kinks." Instead of stinks, she'd say it kinks.
Ah,
And my uncle took us to the toy store, and there was a little black doll there. And he goes, "Look at her kinky hair." And me and my brother went. He goes.
ah.
He told my mom. He goes, "Why'd they do that? Why'd they do that?" And she goes, "Oh, well, I use that word for something else." My mama. God bless
You
my
know,
mama.
I mean, and sometimes when you think about it, it's like I laugh harder when people say they broke they broke wind instead of farted.
Oh, I used to
Breaking
remember they
wind,
used to say they cut the cheese, and I
yeah,
thought,
past gas.
"Ugh."
It's like just say you farted, okay?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, my mama did not like that word. That
No,
was a word she did not like. That word. I might as well said the F word in front of her because she did not like that word. And
no.
so, yeah, and so when I was like, I think I was about 5 years old or so, I said it. And she made me sit there and say that word over and over and over and over while she stared at me. And she said, "You started off like you were all that, and you were laughing." She said, "The more I stared at you and thought how ugly you looked, you started crying."
You know what word my mom doesn't like?
Mm.
Cucka. She does not like that word at all. I had a great aunt that used to use that. "You cucka in your pants?" My mom told my dad, "If your aunt says that to one of our children one more time."
Well, I mean, that's a Spanish word.
Cucka?
Yeah. You know what caca is in Spanish? Is shit.
Oh, well then
Really. It really is. That's what that
that's
means.
probably why they used to say cucka.
But your
I
mama
thought it
didn't.
was something Polish.
All right. That's really funny. Yeah, no, that's what that means in Spanish. Spanish. That's funny. No, my mama, she had a funny way of it took me, I don't know how many years it was before I learned that word procreate.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was such a word. I think I saw it on the Big Bang. I said,
Really?
"What's that mean?" Yeah, I never heard that word. No one ever said that word procreate. I was in German country growing up, so when I was little, I grew up in German country, and they didn't say that word.
Well,
They probably couldn't say it.
do you know how the F word came about?
I think I heard this, but you tell the story because I think it was something about they stuck something on the door. You go ahead and tell it because
No, it came about because you used to have to get permission from the king to procreate. So it was formal something under something king, under the king. And that's how it came up with the FUCK. True story. True story.
and now everybody says it for everything. It don't matter. That's not what they're even talking about. They're not even
Right.
talking about procreating. They're talking about, oh, and it really makes me mad when they put mother on the front of that. Don't you dare put that name on the front of that. That's just wrong.
Yeah. There's that's one word, and the other is the B word. Don't ever call me those two because you won't ever call me again.
Yeah, that's a dog.
Right. Right.
All those words have a true meaning, but nobody ever uses them for the real meaning.
No.
No, no. That's like, they used to say, "Oh, that's bad. That's bad." And I used to think, "No, I had a good time. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was good." And they go, "No, that's what that means now.
Right.
It's good." I
Right.
said, "Well, you said it was bad."
Mm-hmm.
And gay meant happy and gay. It didn't mean what it means now.
Right. Right. I have to laugh because sometimes I'll watch like an old Gene Kelly movie or something, and they're like they're just so gay, and it's like,
Really?
weren't those the times to be so gay and happy?
Well, they used to say, "Here, give me a fag," and they wanted
Yeah.
a cigarette.
Right. Right.
No, everybody put a new definition on it.
Right. You know, the one I'd like to know is how they came up with the D word for penis.
Well, I don't know, but I'll tell you what, Richard Nixon wasn't very happy about that, was he?
But I mean, really, how did somebody come up with that?
I don't know, but you know what? His nickname was Tricky Dick.
I know.
How about that one?
I know. I know.
Isn't that something? Ain't
Boy,
that
did
something?
we get way off subject tonight.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Like I said, I looked at the news and I looked up everything in the news, and all I could see is about subs and sex,
Right.
and J Lo and Ben Affleck. And I thought,
Yeah.
there's got to be more in this world going on than just that.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there is, but at some
Oh, and
point,
the bird flu. That was a big thing too. The bird flu's all over everywhere.
is it?
They're blowing that one up.
I don't know anybody that's been sick.
Well, I don't think there is anybody that's sick. I think they're just trying to make it a big thing so they can put us in lockdown again.
Well, yeah, of course.
I really don't want to be in lockdown again. That was the dumbest thing we ever done in our lives, was being
Mhm.
locked down. That was dumb. And too much carbon monoxide is not good for you. Just saying. I don't think you're
Yeah.
supposed to breathe that much in.
No, no. My whole theory is my body was created to release carbon monoxide, not breathe it in.
From either end.
Follow the science, okay?
Oh, Fauci. You're right. Follow the science. I'm not going to call you doctor. I'm going to call you Mr. Fauci because you're an idiot.
I mean, they kept saying, follow the science, follow the science. Okay, the science has taught me that I breathe out stuff and I
Uh,
breathe in oxygen. So I'm not
uh,
putting the mask on. I'm sorry.
well, and you know what? What's really funny is that mask ain't holding anything back.
No.
It can go right through there. The disease is so little that it can get through just like a picket fence. It was dumb. It was so dumb. And you still see people today wearing them. I want to say, what are you?
No.
Well, and you know what the good one was? The best one was everybody had to wear their mask and everything, and you saw them where they were wearing them down here.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, now what good is that doing you?
Mm-hmm.
You're just wearing it because you're supposed to, because you have to.
Right.
I tell you what, I think that if somebody told you to jump off a cliff, you'd do it because they said it was all in the name of science.
Hey, jump off this cliff and let us see. Let us count how long it takes.
Let's
It's
see
for
how long
science.
gravity's gonna. Yeah, this is for science. Let's see. Let's count how long it takes you to hit the bottom, all in seconds. Because you know what? It's all in the name of science.
Right.
Well, you know what? Let's go. No, well, that one didn't work. We're gonna have to do about 10 more because I think they vary. Their timing
No,
varies.
let's get a bunch of different people. Let's get thin ones, fat ones, short ones, tall ones. It's all for the name of science, people. We're gonna follow the science to see how big
Yeah.
your splat is.
All right. 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 I'm telling you, it's the truth. That's what they're doing. And Fauci's gonna. Oh, and by the way, and Fauci's gonna have a shot for you when you hit the bottom. He's gonna bring back to life.
That sounds like something out of Days of Our Lives.
Right. Right.
Nobody dies.
Nobody dies on Days of Our Lives. Are you kidding me? Uh,
No.
that one guy was there forever. He kept coming back. Oh, what was his name?
Stefano.
Stefano. Yeah, he never died. He never died. The only
No.
one, the only one that died was the grandpa, and that was because he died in real life.
The grandpa and the grandma. And
Welcome
now
back,
now
Royal.
the one that played Stefano is dead in real life, and the one that plays Victor is dead in real life.
Do you know the one that plays Victor is actually Jennifer Aniston's dad?
Yeah, I knew that.
I had a hard time wrapping my head around that. There is a channel on Rumble called JFK Jr. There's a video say they all went and got hanged in
Dang,
Gitmo,
Gitmo.
even Fauci. You know what? That's not true, Royal Apple. That ain't
They've been
true.
saying that since
They've been saying that forever. We couldn't get that lucky.
Yeah, no, they've been saying that since the rigged election that
Yeah, I
Trump
saw the
secretly, you know, held their trials.
I
And
saw the one that said was Hillary and she had a bag over her head, and I don't know. I mean, I was hanging there and they had that B word underneath her. I don't think that was her.
you know, it just crossed my mind.
She's back. I saw her on TV live the other day.
Do you remember when she was leaving somewhere and they had it on video and she looked like she was mouse circuiting and she was like she was short circuiting.
Well, maybe she's AI. Maybe she's one of those AI people.
But what was that all about? I mean, really, what was that all about? Why did she do that?
Well, why can't Biden shuffles when he walks? So I want to know why that he's shuffling around like that. He can't go upstairs. Do you know they will not show him going into Air Force One? You know why they won't? Because he's going in the back door of the plane because the front door is too high and he can't get up the stairs. It's the truth. It's the
Well,
truth.
he's used to going in back doors.
You know, I'm telling you, and Hunter, you know, he said some kind of quote the other day, and it had to do with God, and I thought, what do you know about God, Hunter? I want to know what
He's
you know
been
about
sober
God.
since October. He found Jesus.
Oh, he did? I didn't
Yes,
know he
he
was
found
lost.
Jesus.
I didn't know he was lost. You know,
Yeah.
apparently for him. You know what? Come on, old Hunter. He's something else again, old Hunter. You know, I don't know. I don't know, but I'll tell you what. That man, that's all a big joke too. That's another big joke.
Yeah, you're right. I think though he is going north and I think Jesus is south. I think he's going in the wrong direction.
You know what, Royal Apple? You're right. He better find Jesus because you know what? He said he found him, but I didn't know he was lost in the first place. But he said something about he's given his life to God and he was going to be a good man from here on out. And he ain't doing that either. He's still over there making deals with other countries
Look,
and money laundering and
look, he's given his life to God
yeah.
until all these charges are done and over with.
Yeah. Well, you know what? While he's at it, he should give the money he stole from everybody to God too.
Right.
He ain't
Well,
gonna
give
do
it
that.
5 years, he'll be hitting the crack pipe again. When he
I
gets
thought
out
I
of
thought he looked like he was on some kind of substance when he went into the courthouse, but he said no, he was all sober.
I don't believe it.
I didn't even know he was married. You know what? I didn't know he was married. I mean, I know he was diddling with his brother's wife, but I
Right.
didn't know that he was married.
Um, you know, I couldn't do it, but if you think about it, she's kind of a smart woman because if he's a drug addict, he'll overdose and she'll get everything.
Yeah, but he don't know he's a drug addict. He said he didn't know he
Mm,
was a drug addict because and he did. He was doing lines every 21 minutes, but he didn't know he was an addict.
yeah, I
Well,
know.
well, he's not the sharpest knife in the drawer.
Yeah.
No, I hope Bo was smarter than him. I never saw him.
Well, you know, they say the good die young, so maybe that was his way of getting out of the Bidens.
You know what? You're probably right. You're probably right. He was like, you know what? I'll do anything to get away from this mess.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
and
mean, God
and
rest his
Jill was
soul.
a babysitter. You know what? Put your head around that one. She was the babysitter.
Mm-hmm. She was babysitting Joe.
She was babysitting Hunter.
No, she was babysitting Joe.
Yeah, she was doing a lot of things with Joe. I'm telling you right now, she was. You hear those all that stuff, that crazy stuff about the babysitter and how the husband's off running around with the babysitter. Well, there it was. Joe's off running around with the babysitter, and she couldn't have been very old when she was babysitting. I mean, I think there's quite a few years difference between the two of them.
I think so too.
Well, I tell you what, y'all. I really want y'all to say a prayer for Steve Bannon because that really just breaks my heart that they want to put him in general.
Yeah.
We got to put a protection around him because he don't deserve any of that.
None of them deserve what they're getting.
No,
And the ones that deserve it aren't getting it. So
no, they're not. They're you know what? If you do anything, if you stand up for yourself or stand up for what you think is right, they'll put you in prison.
and I understand that revenge is wrong. I get it. I really do.
I get it.
But we're also human, and there has to be a turnaround, some way, shape, or form. It's got to get turned around, and they need to pay for all of the evil, bad things they did while they're on this earth. Not when they die, because we all know it's gonna, Peter's at the gate saying, "Nope, nope, elevator going down, it's full."
I don't even think they get an elevator. I think it's a bucket with a string on it.
Maybe,
Just let her go.
maybe it's
Crash.
just a trap door.
Right? Bad egg. Remember that? Willy Wonka bad egg crunch. You know what? No. Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
believe there's going to be too many of them up there. I mean, who am I to judge? I'm not anybody to judge, but I'll tell
right.
you this. I'll tell you this. Um, yeah, Hunter better find Jesus. Joe better find Jesus. And quit sniffing everybody for Pete's sake.
Ah, I would, I would never get near him enough. But if he ever smelt one of my grandchildren, he wouldn't have to worry about shuffling off to Buffalo. He'd be going away on a gurney.
You know what? Can't you see it? You look at it and you think it's kind of like a movie, and the director's over there going, "Okay, now Joe, all right, Joe, you're over there at that ice cream place. Okay, Joe, now listen to me. You see that table over there with the balloons and those two little girls, and they wrote your name on a sign with Crayola. Well, that's all they had. Okay, so Joe, I want you to go over there, go to their table, and I want you to sniff their hair." Well, I can't help it. It looks dirty. Go over there and sniff their hair anyway.
I bet you. I bet you his tagline was, "Gee, your hair smells terrific."
Hey, remember, I liked that shampoo. That
I
was
did
really good
too.
shampoo. That
I
was
did
good. And
too.
it did smell terrific.
It did.
But,
I like lemon up too.
he just sniffs on everybody. It's just gross.
It is gross. It is gross. It's like, what are you sniffing? I mean, really? Are you trying to see if you can smell? You know?
I never been around a sniffer before.
You
You
know,
know,
it would be absolutely hilarious.
if they
And
broke wind.
do like a drive by, and
Right?
then
It's
see him going. He's probably used to that smell.
Well, I mean, remember when he was standing there on the stage and all of a sudden I brought up kids and I know that look. And he was up there on stage and all of a sudden he got that look. And I thought, I know what that look means. Jill, you better get your husband. He just loaded up his pants.
Yeah, and then you know what? it was Secret Service on the ear thing. They're like, Joe, you got to be the first one out. Because nobody wants to walk behind you, Joe. Joe, do you read us? You got to get out of there.
Joe, now listen, Joe,
You
Joe,
need your
see that
napkins
exit?
clean.
You see that exit? I want you to turn sideways, turn to your left. And do you see that exit sign? Well, I want you to walk over to it, but I want you to scoot while you're walking because we want everyone to think that you messed your pants. Okay. Oh, you did? Okay. Well, can you kind of scoot along there, Joe? I wonder. We see a bunch of Joe and hear a little bit about Hunter, but I wonder what his brother's all about. James. They said that he got all mad during the court hearing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because they're probably about to bring down charges on him.
Oh yeah, he's in trouble too.
They're
And he
cracking down.
looks a
I
lot
did
like his brother. He could be one of those people that are duplicates.
doppelganger.
He does. He looks just like his brother.
I know he does. I
I
know.
bet you. I bet you they put him in there every once in a while. Say you're going to play Joe. All right, James. James, act like Joe. Joe. Okay, now we're going to call you whatever your name is. Okay, now look to your left. Now look to your right. Now, do you know how to shuffle when you walk? Okay. James, shuffle a little bit like your brother does.
You know what? That could be why he looks so confused because he doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing.
There it is. There it is. We got it all figured out. The real truth
It
is
is.
he don't know what he's supposed to do because
See,
that ain't even the real Joe.
it took Connie and Linda to figure it out.
Yep, that ain't the real Joe. That's
I think we need to go
someone
on
else.
Newsmax and
Yeah,
let him know.
I
This
think
is
so too. Because you know what? It's not the
we
Joe
figured
don't
it
know
out.
where he's at. It ain't the real Joe.
Right.
Would the real Joe please stand up?
He wouldn't even stand up because he doesn't know it's him.
No, it's like no. Who? Joe who? Oh my God. You know what? I'm going to tell you right now. It's embarrassing. It's truly, truly embarrassing that this is what represents our country.
Yes, it is. It sure is.
And they think that it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I'm sorry,
No.
guys. It ain't okay. I don't want that person. And I got another one for you. So, um, they said that all the kids, all the boys were going to be automatically registered for the service from the age of 18 to 26.
Mm-hmm.
And then they sent that over to the Senate, and the Senate said, okay, and we want your girls too.
Right.
We want your girls and we want them, they're going to be signed up too.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, and it's not a draft. Nope, it's not a draft, guys. They're just going to automatically sign up your boys. You think, you know what? My boy's older, but if I had one in that age, he ain't going over there and fighting over there for Zinliski or any of that silly fighting. No, I'm not going to let it. Well, you can't run to Canada anymore because that's what Clinton did. He ran to Canada. But I don't know. I just say no. What are you going to do? Shoot me?
Right.
No, he ain't going. They're not going.
Right. Yeah. It'll be a
Mm.
cold day if they ever get my grandkids.
Yeah, you're not going to. Well, Mama Bear. I'm telling you right now, these mama bears they are not going to let their babies go off to war to
Nope.
fight some useless thing that somebody decided that they couldn't get along.
Right.
Yeah,
We
no,
didn't
it's not
start
going to
the
happen.
war.
It's not
We
going to
didn't start
happen.
it.
Nope,
Yeah. Oh, did
nope.
you hear that Israel is pissed off at the White House and the White House isn't taking Israel's phone calls because of what Netanyahu said?
See, that's what I'm telling you. It's a bunch of children.
Netanyahu came and put out a video that we're withholding ammunition, missiles, and all of that to Israel And the White House says, "No, we're not." Joe's really good at pig.
Yeah. Oh, Joe.
Joe's
Oh,
really
Joe.
good at oh, what's that called? You do this and I'll do that for you. Bid crow. You know what I'm trying to say.
Pro quo. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
He's
he's into
really
he's into. I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine, and I'm gonna send you $1 billion, and you're gonna send it right back, and you're gonna put it in my account and put it in all my businesses. You don't do it just one deposit. You're gonna have to split it up into multiple deposits for my 20 businesses. You know what?
yeah.
He's a crook. And
Mhm.
Nancy Pelosi probably taught him how to do it because her dad was a mob guy, so she probably taught him how.
Probably.
It's crazy. Oh my God! Look, Connie, look at Linda. The time has gone so fast,
I know. I
and Connie
know.
Connie likes to talk too much.
And I was gonna say it's that time.
Yeah, because your water's gone.
My water's
Oh,
gone.
your water's gone. Well, guys, it's been great having you here, and we're still going to do that thing. So we're going to give once we get to 500 subscribers. Anyone that subscribes, like and subscribe, and put the name of the person that told
In the
you.
comments below.
Yeah, in the comments below who told you to come, so we know who to give the credit to, and then we're going to give them something.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And then we were thinking about maybe doing like a raffle or something, but
Yeah, right.
yeah, yeah, little by little. Yeah, you never know. You never know.
Right.
So we're I
Oh,
want you to know that little dog right there thinks he's a German Shepherd.
I was
He
just gonna
thinks
say,
it's
there goes Mr. Little
Benny.
Bitty.
That's
Little
Benny.
Bitty.
Benny thinks he's a Great Dane, and he's not. He's a little tiny thing. Um, but like and subscribe and send over who you can, and make sure you put Benny, and make sure they put your name in the comments of who sent you here so we can give the credit. All right.
You know,
And
Connie, I just gotta say, every time when you say Benny, I just want to pop out with and the Jets. Okay, I just had to say that.
that's because that's what he was named after.
Oh, see, great minds,
Hmm.
great
Yeah,
minds.
Benny from Benny and the Jets was a boxer. That's what that
Mm.
song was about. And well, he's not a boxer. He's a Chihuahua, but he thinks he's a Great Dane. He
Mm.
thinks.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you on Tuesday. I'm not sure if we're not doing the 2000s, are we? I don't think so. We'll figure something else out. We'll figure something else out. Something more
We'll just
fun.
have fun. We'll do some kind of quizzes or something.
Yeah, we'll do something. Have fun. Just have maybe a trivia night or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll do something. And Royal Apple, it's a pleasure. It always is. And
Again, thank you for your support.
yep,
We
thank you for your
appreciate it.
support. And I love y'all. And I'll see you on Tuesday.
I love y'all too. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye. Have a great weekend.
Yep.